Next up, taking a peek at the steering wheel for the vehicle. So this is going to be a full walk around explaining all the different steering wheel buttons and the cluster screen as well. So let's dive into it. First thing I'm going to point out, so we do have a few different things. So stick on the left-hand side is going to be for our high beams. We can easily flash or lock on as necessary. Stick on the right-hand side is going to be for our front and for our rear windshield wipers. Now on top of that, we do have paddle shifters inside this vehicle. So we've got our minus on the left, plus on the right-hand side, so we can easily adjust out gears as we want to. And then in behind the steering wheel, so left side versus right side. On that left side, we do have the flexibility of being able to change out stations. So we can seek up and down one at a time, or we can do a press and hold in order to be able to seek that way instead. And then there's a button along the very middle in order to change between all of our active presets. So we just button press to change our presets as we go. Along the right-hand side in the back, we've got our volume rocker. So you can hear there, so we can adjust our volume from there. And then we've got a button in the middle there as well, like to be able to change between all of our active sources. So it is nice that the controls are very, very non-obtrusive. Now the steering wheel in the vehicle might be manual, might be power, just depending on the version of the vehicle you've got. This specific one, as you can see there, so it's a power telescoping steering wheel, and that's just by our left knee down here. Ooh, hello. So down there, so we'd have our controls there. But like I said, overall feeling, comfort, styling inside of this thing is amazing. We do have the option for heated steering wheel, heated all the way around, but this thing looks great. Got a nice like wood grain right along the bottom part of the steering wheel. Then even as we get down the steering wheel as well, it's all over the place. But series of different options and different buttons that are available. So let's start off with the pad on the right-hand side. So this is the easy one. This is our adaptive cruise control system. So we can easily, so this one is our highway drive assist, which is going to help keep us balanced in our lane as we go. And then it's also tied into our adaptive cruise. So set it and forget it cruise control. So you can kind of see as I press these buttons. So this is our distance indicator. So how close or how far do we want to be away from the vehicle that's in front of us? You can kind of see our distance going in a few different places there. We can also toggle that whole system on or off. And then once we get to our perfect position, we can either increase or decrease 1 kilometer or 1 mile per hour at a time. We can also toggle that whole cruise control system on off as necessary, so the adaptive cruise. And then we can also do a cancel or resume. So cancel if you want to, because like it's interesting is what will happen with the adaptive cruise system if your vehicle senses somebody's oncoming. Let's say if you've got it set to 100 kilometers an hour, it's going to automatically slow you down. If they pick up speed, change lanes, or get out of the way, it'll pick you back up to your set speed again. So it's a very smart system there. But if you ever freak out, you press the brakes first. You can simply resume, we can cancel, or we can toggle the whole system off if we wanted to very simply by pressing that button there. Off to the left-hand side, series of other options available. So we do have our basic up and down there. We can go left and right between different screens. And then the simple buttons are these two. So we can either answer or hang up on a phone call. And then we can also do a button press in order to launch into our Uconnected Assistant. Or if we're connected through Android Auto or Apple Carplay, we can do a long press and hold in order to be able to activate either a Google or a Siri Assistant. And that's through this top green button along the top right-hand side of the left pad. Next one is this circular button there. So what that's going to do is give us a few different looks in order to navigate between different screens. As you can see there, oh, that's kind of neat. That is really freaking neat. Okay, so that's available as an option there. Night vision, come on. Okay, hold on, I gotta zoom you in. This is ridiculous. We've got a night vision mode inside of this thing. We've got our driver assistance settings, and I can't get over this night mode. That is obviously like we're in the daytime, but it is so dang cool that we've got the option for nighttime mode inside of this thing. Button press in order to switch between different modes there. So what I'm going to do is just kind of go between active screens by going left versus right hand side. So along the left side, you can see that we're going through our different trip counters there. So trip B, trip A, etc. And then we can just do a press there in order to get to different tiles. So if you want to, we can press OK in order to save out the number of tiles there, etc. We can go between our different counters this way instead. So a few different ways we can get into these screens. If you want to reset your trip counter, we just press and hold OK, and that's going to reset that screen. Push this button to get back to this main mini screen again. So we press this to get to the main screen, press that in order to get back to this other screen. Cycling through, again, press through in order to get to all of our vehicle info. Button press to get back to the main screen, or we can just go up and down between each mode instead. So we've got each individual view, we button press to get into the full view. So we've got our gauge summary there. We've got our base one, so our fuel economy gauge. We've got our oil life, tire pressure, and then back to fuel economy or back to that main screen. So this is essentially just your basic back button. Moving into here, we've got our driver assistance settings that are available. So our speedometer, I still can't get over that night vision. So cool, so cool. And then button press to get back to this main screen, or again, we can kind of go up and down between active screens there. And then this one, we can obviously go between our different modes. So if we want to, we can go between different presets, left versus right. We can mute the audio this way as well if we want to, which is kind of neat. And from there, we've also got, so we go back, and then we go one more, and then this one is going to be, so our vehicle dynamics. So we've got our RPM, so neat. Our entry exit, oh, this is so nice. So the vehicle's currently lowered. So as we go through all of our different modes for air suspension, you'll see this one kind of adjust dynamically as well. We've also got this, so all of our vehicle dynamics. So we've got our current terrain status. So we're currently in sport mode, but as we change out, you can see that we've got all of the different modes that are available. It's kind of nice, and it kind of tells you a little bit what's going on as we go. So as we go through different modes, it might either raise or lower the vehicle as necessary. But one of the cool things when we're in that sport mode, infinitely sportier performance, and we can kind of rev up this way as well, which is kind of nice. And from there, we've also got our terrain status, so we can see exactly what's going on. And that's kind of neat because as we raise or lower the vehicle, we're going to have improved dynamics, obviously as the vehicle's lower to the ground. So you can kind of see it's lowering dynamically there as it goes. Moving across, we've also got our off-road dynamics there, so we can see what's happening with the transfer case and things like that. Thank you. So we can see what's going on with the transfer case. You can also see our steering wheel there turns as we go, and it's going to let us know if our rear stability bar is disconnected and things like that. Moving across, we've also got the vehicle pitch and roll, so useful if we're going off-roading. And then back to our terrain status again, and back to that main screen. And then as we go across, so it takes us back through these main screens again, we can just press and hold OK if we want to edit these things out. So if we want to shorten the number of tiles that are available there, we've got that flexibility. Button press to go back in, and then we've also got some other flexibility, so we can kind of adjust what each one does. So button press there, and we go through, so we've got some different nav settings. So as of right now, we don't have a map that's currently connected or going on, but one of the cool things is that if we had a map set up, so over to the side here, let's say we go navigation, and let's search for an address. Let's go to a previous destination. Here we go. So we could go that way if we want to. Honestly, the easier way probably just would have been for me to press the voice command prompt and just navigate that way instead. But watch what happens when we do it. So we button press there. Drive. And here we go. So we can see exactly what's going on with the route as we go. So it is kind of nice that we've got that available as an option, and we go back through our trip A, B counter, button press there, and it's going to load our map up. Oh, right through the middle screen, which is amazing. You will arrive at
your destination at 1:48 p.m.
Well, thank you, fella. And we've got the option so we can have it as a male or a female there as well if we want. But I love that we've got the map that's built directly into the screen. Now, one thing to note, this is just our factory map, so our factory navigation that's available there. And then we can get a button press in order to go back through, go back to that main screen again. So it is nice. So we can just kind of press single button press in order to get into the maps or the navigation or whatever sub-screen, or we do a longer press and hold if we want to be able to essentially edit these things out instead. So it is nice that we've got so much flexibility inside of this. And then a few different options for the route. But if we go en route, I'm actually kind of curious. So we're going to go en route. I'm not sure about navigation for certain things. So if we go to our phone for a second, I'm going to connect through Apple Carplay. Okay, so Apple CarPlay is connected. Let's launch into CarPlay. I'm going to go to Apple Maps. I'm going to search for a destination. We're going to go for gas station, global, can call, or we can just hit go. Ah, okay. So we can't have Apple CarPlay map displayed there, unfortunately.
You can ask Siri to report any crashes or hazards you see along the way.
Thank you. All right, let's go back. I'm curious, is it the same way now for Google Maps? We're going to search for an address. Let's go to gas stations. I'm going to go back to this gas station, start. Will it display the map there? No, so it's the same thing. So across the board, it doesn't look like any of the other maps outside of the factory map will connect directly through this screen, unfortunately. I wish that wasn't the case, but we at least do have our factory map available there as an option if we wanted to go that route. Just unfortunately can't use anything else but the factory map. But like I said, still tons of options that are available inside of this thing. But that's everything that you need to know about the steering wheel as well as that cluster screen inside of the 2022 Grand Cherokee.